Welcome to our gathering tonight. We're talking about what it means to circle with women, and in particular, what it means to circle with women in a committed container over a period of time. And I offer an opportunity to do this twice a year. I offer a fall and winter program called the 12-week virtual transformational program for women. And the women that I have here tonight, lovely women, were part of my programs last year. They were part of either the fall or the winter program, or in Jessie's case, both. um, and the reason why I wanted to gather us tonight and do a little sharing is often women come to me and express that they would like to be part of a circle, or like to be part of a program like this, but a lot of fears come up. Some women fear like that they just won't fit in, or that they're not the right age, or that they have children and they're not sure if they can make the 12-week commitment. Um, and sometimes there's just a resistance, because coming together like this in a committed way with women is a really powerful act. And women get to experience firsthand just what it is to journey in a circle of support where your troubles are halved and your celebrations are doubled, because you are in the power and the beauty of women like yourself. So to open this conversation tonight, we're going to just come into our bodies, into this space, and do a little bit of grounding before we all share. So wherever you're at, just go ahead and come to a comfortable seat. Maybe place a hand on your heart and another hand on top of that. And then if it's okay for you, just closing the eyes. And I invite you to notice your breath as it comes in and out of the body. And just feel your energy wherever you've come from. Just start to drop down. All the thoughts, all the movement coming down into your bones, into your flesh, into the land that you're on, wherever you live. Feeling grounded and rooted in this moment in time. And I want to take you back a little further, maybe to a time of aunts and mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers. Maybe to a beautiful setting outside by the ocean or in the woods, maybe by a fire, where you're surrounded by support. And you're surrounded by women of all ages, with all life experiences. And in that circle, there is a seat just for you. And when it feels right for you, just taking that seat at the circle. Notice what it feels to be here now with your sisters. And to the women who will be sharing tonight, I invite you to think back to last fall or last winter when you were entering this 12-week program for women. Women that you'd never met before, who would become sisters. And think of the feelings and the sensations, maybe the fears that came up for you as you went to join the program. And feeling through some of the memories of the journey, the ways that you grew, the ways that you were so brave, the way that you were supported, and the way that you supported others. And for the speakers tonight and for the listeners, just notice what's arising for you, what's coming up. And take a couple deep breaths right into your heart space. Know that there are no coincidences, that if you're here tonight, if you're listening, that there's a purpose to it. And in your heart, asking, why is it that I'm here tonight? What have I come for? And let that answer come from the heart rather than the head. And when you have that answer, just distilling it down into one or two words and letting those words be your intention. Another deep breath. Relax your body, relax your face, soften the jaw. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and take a look at your sisters and the faces and the smiles. And to open our space tonight, we're just going to say our name, the state that we reside in, our province and country, and your words of intention. So I'll begin and then we can popcorn around. So I am Becky. I reside in Connecticut. My words of intention tonight are calling and listening.
And I'm Terry, and I'm in Prince Edward Island, Canada. And the word that came to me was connection.
I'll go next. I'm Giselle. I live in Connecticut. The word that comes up for me is sharing and love.
I'm Jessie. I live in Maryland, and I also had connection and community.
Let's breathe those in. So it really is a treat to see all of your faces on the screen once again. And I have a few questions tonight that I'm going to turn over to the women here. And I'm going to ask the question, and then ladies, whoever wants to take it first, you can just, unmute yourself. So the first question that I have for you is, what drew you to gather with women in this way and for this 12-week program? Giselle, I think you're talking, but we can't hear you. Can you unmute? There we
I
go.
didn't know I was muted. I'm
Yep.
trying to figure out how to do it.
All right, that's all right.
Okay. So I personally feel like the universe is always speaking to me. It's just a matter of if I'm listening. And I was new to Connecticut and I had signed up because I was looking at the yoga studio not far from here. And I saw a women's circle class that was happening, which Becky was teaching. And when I went, I'm an advocate of women's circles. I had done one prior to moving here. So I went to this circle and Becky shared that there was a group that was connecting for 12 weeks and it just called my heart. And it's not the first time this has happened. I didn't see it as a coincidence. And I signed up and the rest is kind of history. That's kind of how I came here.
Beautiful. Very synchronistic. Thank you, Giselle.
Yes.
I'll go. I believe I was sent an email by Becky, and just the tone of the email, the description about what the circle was going to be, my previous friendship with Becky, I just felt once again called. It was my gut said, do it. And I thought, okay, I'll do it. And from the tone of the email too, I knew that it would be a safe place um, as well, um, to gather with women. And so that's why I did it.
Thank you so much, Terry.
I know Becky from years ago, and the summer before I signed up for the circle, I had heard a podcast that she was on, and so that kind of brought Becky into my mind and my kind of my universe again just by hearing that. And so then we connected, and Becky told me more about what the women's circle would be. I had never participated in one before, and I had been doing a lot of healing on my own and a lot of therapy. And Becky encouraged me to consider joining women and like the power of healing together in community. And I really felt called as well to shift from not, not abandoning like individual therapy or anything like that, but to shift from some more individual, therapy and coaching to try a community circle. And it was so fantastic and exceeded all my expectations of what I even imagined it would be. I signed up for the next one. So I did two back-to-back circles, and I probably would just keep doing it because it's been so amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for your share. So I heard a couple things in what you guys shared here. One was Terry mentioned safety, um, and Jesse brought up the power of healing in community. So a lot of women who come to Circle, I think women in general, we're always healing in life, and we're always evolving and growing. And as a therapist myself, I'm a big proponent of safety first, and a big proponent of therapy. And I think a woman's circle and group work is such a great complement to doing our one-on-one work, whether it's coaching or therapy or whatever else we have going on in our lives. But when we gather with women, we're better versions of ourselves when we have our support coming from a variety of places. Um, and so going back to what Terry said about safety, I think for a lot of women, um, circling with women doesn't feel safe. When women come together, we have memories of either sister wounds or mother wounds. And that's part of the healing that happens when women come together in a safe way. But, there are containers that don't always feel safe. And a couple of the things that I think are important in a women's circle to have, especially for me to be like a facilitator. Um, as a facilitator, I don't see myself as disseminating information or being a teacher, being in as much of a teaching role as much as I am in a role of responsibility to hold a container to keep safety. And so in looking, if you're at home looking for a circle in your community, a couple of things to just keep in mind is, is the circle held with a great deal of structure? Are there agreements that are upheld? Those are paramount, because the last thing you want to do is bare your heart at a women's circle and not know where that information is going to go or where that's going to land. So having those parameters, those safe pieces are important. And also, when you are coming to a group, a circle, whether even a yoga class or some kind of community gathering, sometimes if people they're not actively doing their own work on themselves, they're not actively opening themselves up to some kind of supervision, because a circle is a mirror and there can be all kinds of projections. So like for myself as a facilitator, it's important that I'm doing my own healing as I'm leading others, or facilitating things for others. And I have a space to become aware of my own blind spots. So all of that is part of the mix. So yeah. All right, here's our next question. Are we ready? All right. So, what fears came up for you as you said yes to this program? Maybe even thinking back to when you entered on the first night.
I can go for that one first. I always get a bit concerned about being online, about being through Zoom, because many of the other, circles, I've been involved in of any types of gatherings have been in person, which I have a tendency to prefer. Um, and would have loved to have met all the women that we were in circle with in person. But there was a great sense of community. So that was my fear, but my fears were soon laid to rest. That the connection still happens within an online community as well. So that was really my only fear, was how we would accomplish what we wanted to accomplish um, within that gathering online.
Thanks, Terry.
Hmm. So I, much like Terry, would have preferred a woman's circle in person because that was what I was used to. It's where I came from, and I was a little reluctant and then a little nervous on that first night, seeing all the faces and would I be accepted? Would I fit in? Did I make a mistake? Was this going to be safe? And when you're in person, I feel like you can read body language more easily than when you're just seeing somebody's face. But that changed really quick. I think even by the end of the first night, I knew the decision to have come here was the right decision. And I had zero regrets. And there's always that commitment. Can I do it? Is something going to interfere? Um, but every week I looked forward to the email. I looked forward to what the topic was going to be and my share and other people's shares. So yeah, I, I'm very grateful every day that I experienced this.
Um, I think I was so excited. I don't remember being fearful the first day. Um, I guess one of the fears, I didn't consider it a fear, just like a hesitation, was just about the commitment. I have two children and they still require a little bit of me, and my husband will travel sometimes. So I just thought, oh my gosh, can I actually do this? And people would see my youngest busting in, and reminded as well, like that I was wearing, an earbud. So like their shares and their sense of privacy was not going to be exposed to like my my child busting in the room. But that was probably the biggest like fear for me, I guess, is just being able to honor the commitment and actually have the time, which mostly I had most of the time without interruption. But I echo Giselle. I'm really grateful that I said yes to it. It was the best thing that I could have done.
Thank you, ladies. And I think when we talk about Jesse's kids, we all smile a little bit, like doing somersaults. But I mean, we had several women with young children, and you know, women seeing one another with the same struggles of managing kids, and even Terry, who her kids are grown now, but knowing some of those struggles, it was just so beautiful how you could really feel that support and that knowing really mirrored back. Like, I know what it is to have these kids. So, yeah. All righty. So, our next question is what benefits did you receive from journeying with a group of women over a consistent period of time?
I'll take this one first. For me, is oftentimes whatever I was fearing or feeling and not able to express it, it was expressed by someone else. Um, it at first I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. But then you realize, and I realize more and more that we share the same fears, we share the same excitement, we and we all come from so many different places and walks of life, yet we are more alike than we are not. And the more time I spend being supported by women, the more healing that I get. I was not nurtured as a child the way that, in a healthy way. And this has helped my healing process because I feel like I'm on a healing journey always. And this program reassured that for me. And, I still go back through my little journal and even right before this started, and it just brings up a lot of good, happy feelings and really helped the experience overall.
Thank you, Giselle.
And I can echo what Giselle said too, as well, was that shared commonality. And no matter the age, like Becky had referred to, um, um, with respect to the children. But yeah, and there was equal ground between feeling supportive and providing the support. And all, I get back to it, all within that safe environment being led by Becky. So there was a container. It just wasn't willy-nilly. And there was a focus each week to kind of, I don't want to say keep us on track, but as Giselle said, there were so many what we share alike, and what we can share with each other in support of that, or what worked for us or what didn't work for us. Um, and there was a kinship. Um, yeah, there was a kinship. So that I looked forward to the weekly sessions and to see how somebody was doing with whatever we were discussing or talking about or sharing. So thank you.
That's so true. That kinship was so unique. And I felt like our bonds were there from the very beginning, and it's continued to grow throughout the program, to really just get to know each other. And as Terry said, just looking forward to seeing each other. I just felt held and seen in a way that I haven't before. And I know that some might think, how does that happen when you're in a container or a group with strangers? But I think that's the beauty of it. It's like it's definitely a structure, a container that, with safety at the base of it, but then we just kind of grew together in this beautiful way. And yes, just as you were saying, Terry, commonality, like I know that I was supposed to be in that group with you, Terry, because I think about you often. Like you experienced a lot of the stuff that I was experiencing, and you had gone through that, years before me. But I just felt so encouraged and inspired by your story and how it was relating to what I've been going through. And that was just so valuable for me.
Thank you, Jesse, and all of you. So just speaking to, how interesting it is to have such a deep connection and such profound mirroring and being seen and having felt sense of being held by group over screen, but the beauty of this is that we have people from all parts of the world, and so Terry's up in Canada and Jesse's in Maryland and Giselle and I are in Connecticut. And one thing that we would do through the program is when there would be a moon, like a full moon or something, we would all in our different parts of the world, like look up and would be like, thinking of you, So there were really unique and interesting ways that these groups found of connecting with one another. And the diversity is amazing. The diversity of age, the diversity of life experience, um, deepens what women can offer to each other. And like just looking at the pairing of Jesse and Terry and the mirroring of your lives, but happening at different phases of life, and knowing how much you really almost needed each other, and that still continues is so cool. So it's amazing to think about how these bonds happen. Okay, so my final question for you guys. And so I'll ask this question, and you can either ask this question, or if there's just something different you want to say that you feel that needs to be said, feel free to do that. So my question is, what advice do you have for those considering the program or gathering with a group of women?
The word that came to mind is trust. If you're called in any particular way to join the group, but then your mind kicks in with, oh, can I commit for 12 weeks? And can I do this? And will I be able to trust it? Do I feel safe? Or, we always come up with all kinds of reasons why not to. But if your intuition said yes, then trust. Trust that that's where you're meant to be, and to lean into it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I love that you said trust, because that was my advice, is trust the process, that you're not here by mistake, and keep your heart open. And with an open heart and trust, and knowing that we are here on purpose in a safe space, offers you the best possible outcome. And whatever you think you're going to get out of it sometimes isn't even close to what you get out of it. It's just an experience worth taking.
Giselle.
Yeah, I think it can be hard to just show up, but if you can be brave to take that first step, if you are feeling called to do this, I would highly recommend it, because again, like Giselle was saying, you might think that you'll get one thing out of something out of this 12-week circle, and you get even more than you can imagine, in just continued friendships, support. And there's actually, it's not, not mandatory thing, but Becky also creates a shared group on Facebook that's private, so you can connect that way with each other. And it's very, very safe and very special. So I would just say show up. If you're even considering it, just go for it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Women. So, as I'm hearing you share, I just think about when I open one of these programs and I look at the faces and people show up the first night. I'm kind of blown away by the courage and the bravery, because I think the real reason for the resistance is anytime you're doing something that has a great potential for transformation and healing. I know this is true in my life. A lot of resistance comes up, and it's just sort of part of the process. And so fighting through that is really hard. And Jesse, what you said, like, just show up, like just showing up, even if you feel all that you feel and you feel really imperfect and this isn't going to work and everything else. But if you just show up, it's so courageous. And I honor those women. So one of the reasons I called this forum together tonight and asked these women to do this with me is because before the program start, I already start to feel in my heart the people that are coming in the next program. So my next program is starting January 6th, and it's my winter program. And I was already feeling the women that would come, but I was also feeling that they needed reassurance, that they needed something like this to give them the nudge to feel okay. So I'm putting this out to them and trusting that it will land in their laps. So we're going to start to close our time tonight. So if you would return to how we started, maybe just a hand on the heart, hand on the belly, or both hands over the heart, and then just closing the eyes, returning to the self, the body, the internal sense of knowing within, and just coming back to that beautiful feeling of the breath as it comes in and as it comes out of the body. And in our mind's eye, just seeing this next group that will come to gather with me here in this forum, but also the women that are gathering more and more through different parts of the world in different ways, in love, in safety, and collaboration, making a space for daughters and granddaughters and great-granddaughters to have places of knowing and strength and comfort to land in. And just continuing to feel the breath, to feel wherever you are tonight, maybe the beautiful night sky, the nature that surrounds you, and the very beautiful part of the world that you reside in. And feeling once again into your heart, what is something that you are taking with you from this conversation tonight? Something that you are taking with you, taking away, putting in your pocket. And when you have that, just forming it into one or two words. And when you're ready, open your eyes and we'll speak our words into the circle. So when you're ready, ladies, you can unmute yourself.
Bless you, Terry. It's trust and community.
I'm taking support and joy.
I had the word joy as well, and confirming.
I had beauty and rose. So we'll just take a breath to breathe those words in. And so much gratitude tonight for those of you listening and for those of you that so generously shared these beautiful women and lives here. May they be mightily blessed in so many ways. And so it is. Thank you for gathering tonight. Take care.
Thank you.